Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today the video I have for you is me transforming a jumper I made quite a long time ago and that I don't wear a lot into a cardigan that I'm hoping I will wear quite a lot. I'm going to be making the Sequoia Cardigan by ESNQ Knit. I'll link the pattern in my description. And I made quite a few modifications to the pattern you can see in the video. And I wish I had the jumper to show you, but silly of me, I didn't record this introduction in the beginning of the video. I'm recording it after recording the video, which means that I no longer have the jumper to show you, but I can show you the yarn I'm using. This is a yarn that was a limited edition. I don't remember exactly the name of the yarn. And I can't find it anywhere online, any references to it, but I think it was something like the Chunky Mohair or Massive Mohair, I think it was, by Laura Aston Designs. And I remember when I saw this being advertised, when she came out with it, I was absolutely fell in love with the look of it. And when I got it, the texture is so soft. It's nothing like some more scratchy mohair or more itchy mohair you can find in some places. It's like different mohair fibers somehow worked together to make this chunky yarn, or super chunky even, I would say. And it's really soft and really fluffy. And at the time I bought, I don't remember how many balls of yarn I bought, but I bought enough to make a jumper. And I made a jumper that was quite cropped, and also the sleeves were quite large. So as I said, I wasn't getting much wear out of that jumper. I want to transform it into something that I can wear under a winter coat, that's easier to wear under a winter coat when I go out in the winter, but also something I can wear in the house. Where I live in Lisbon, it doesn't get that cold in the winter, but the houses get quite cold because we don't have central heating. The majority of the houses don't have central heating, so I get really cold working at my desk all day. You know, I'm not moving a lot, so I don't get warm. So I think a cardigan will be perfect to wear even over other jumpers. So here is me transforming a jumper into a cardigan. So the first thing that I need to do is to frog this whole jumper, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge because this like giant mohair yarn is super fluffy, so I'm guessing it's gonna get caught a lot of times. So I'm gonna spend some time carefully frogging this first. I knitted this as a front piece, a back piece, and then I attached the sleeves. So I'm gonna have to, I think first I'm gonna have to unpick all the seams and then start frogging each part individually. So I'm gonna try and find the knots where I knotted this at the seams, and I can already see one. And another thing I need to do is when I knitted this jumper, I didn't really know how to shape the yoke so that the back part comes up a bit more than the front part, and so it's reversible. It's the same. The front part is the same as the back part. So I put a bit of like this this reddish yarn in what I consider to be the back parts. You know, you can see all the mistakes we make when we start knitting, and it's really funny coming back to this. But yeah, I'm gonna unpick this, and then I'm gonna unpick the seams, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, I got this out, and I saved all these little bits of yarn that I have to make stuffing for like toys and things like that. So I'm saving this. Nothing gets wasted in this house. I think this is going to be much harder than I thought because there's been some felting. I hope like the whole jumper is not felted, but Yeah, right at the top of the collar, I think there's been some felting, so it's actually really hard to frog. Okay, one sleeve is off and look at the size of it. No wonder I wasn't happy with it. It was too big. Okay, I have all of the pieces now, and it's time to start frogging. I did have to snip in certain places, so I have these strands of yarn that hopefully I won't need, but either way I'm gonna save them for later. And yeah, I'm gonna start frogging everything now. Nearly there. I have 3 big balls and this one piece to go, but I started to sneeze like crazy, so I need to take a break because of all the fibers going around. It releases a lot of fibers. It's a little bit messy, but yeah, you can see here, this is where I had to cut a little bit, but yeah, hopefully I'll be done soon. So I frogged the whole jumper, and I started talking to the camera and talking about swatches, and I knitted one swatch, I frogged that, I knitted another one, and the whole time I wasn't recording, so I'm gonna explain what I've done. The cardigan is supposed to be knitted on 15mm US size needles, and I don't have any circular needles that size, even though I much prefer knitting with circular needles. I only have these straight needles, which I don't tend to use anymore. So I thought of trying the 12mm needles, because I remember when I first knitted the jumper, I probably used these needles anyway, and I thought, my gut feeling is that this yarn is a lot chunkier than the yarn recommended in the pattern. So I knitted a swatch in garter stitch, and it was supposed to measure 10 centimeters. If you don't know what a swatch is, it's a little square sample that you knit. The pattern you buy will say knit these many stitches, this many rows, and that should measure X amount of centimeters or inches. Usually it's 10 centimeters. So I knitted the swatch with the 12mm needles, and the swatch was 70% bigger than it should be. It was 17 centimeters instead of 10. So I frogged that, and I decided to drop the needle size to 10mm needles, but it's still too big. I'm on 12 centimeters now of the swatch. I didn't even finish the swatch because I just measured across, and it was 12. I could see immediately that it was too big. I'm not going to finish this swatch because I don't think I can drop the needle size anymore, because the stitches are already quite tight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit the cardigan on 10mm needles, and I'm going to drop a size of the pattern. Instead of a small, I'm going to do a extra small. But I'm now thinking, if 10 centimeters is not, the fabric is like a little tight. I don't know what to do. If I knit with the 12mm needles, it's going to be a very big cardigan, even the extra small. So I don't know. I'm going to give it a go with the 10. I'm going to give it a go with the 10mm needles, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy interchangeable circular needles for my cables, because I can't knit with this. It just keeps bumping on my legs. It keeps bumping on the sofa. It even bumped on the cat. So I'm gonna frog this, and I'm gonna go out and buy the circular needles if they have some. Let's before going out, I decided to check my old set of circular needles that I bought of Amazon many years ago when I started knitting, and I do have 10mm needles, so I'm gonna try these ones, because even though I much prefer my interchangeable Knit Pro Symphony ones, they don't have them on the website in the shop I was going to go to, so I think they're probably not gonna have them in store either, so let's go with these ones. I feel like I'm done for today. My wrists hurt quite a bit. I think when I knit with chunky yarn, they tend to start hurting a lot sooner. Or maybe it's because I did all that movement frogging the jumper, I don't know. But anyway, I think I'm on row 7 now, which doesn't seem much, but because it is a chunky knit, I already did like about this much. So yeah, for today I'm done. I don't know if I have time to pick this up tomorrow, or if I'll pick this up another day this week. But yeah, I'll be done when I'm done. It's the next day, and this is how much I've knitted so far. You can see here I've made 2 cable patterns already, 2 cables. I'm using this needle to make the cables. I didn't remember I had this, but I have 4 of these needles, double pointed 10mm needles, so that's what I'm using, and I think that's what I'm gonna use to knit the sleeves as well, because as I said, I don't have interchangeable circular needles, so I can't use my short cable to knit the sleeve, which is my preferred method. But I'm gonna give it a go. When I get to the sleeves, I'm gonna give it a go with these double pointed needles, and then that doesn't work, I'll try to buy the interchangeable 10mm needles. Anyway, I'm supposed to do 4 cables before I split the front and the back to leave the holes for the sleeves. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit the 4, and then I'm going to measure to see if I have the intended length already before I decide to split or to knit another cable. So I was knitting the cardigan, and my hands started hurting again, and my wrists started hurting again. And usually I don't get a lot of pain while knitting smaller things, when I'm knitting my jumpers or the top I'm making. But then I realized that with the chunky yarn and the chunky needles, my wrists make much bigger movements while knitting, and that's probably why my hands are hurting quite a bit. So even though you knit up quicker, because it's a chunky knit, you have to take more breaks, so it's a little bit frustrating. But in better news is that I already know what's coming next in the pattern, so I've got used to the pattern, and I can just know what the next row is, so I don't have to stop and go and check the pattern so often now. But sometimes that's when you make mistakes, so I also need to be careful with that. Okay, I don't know what I've done wrong, but there's something going on that's not quite right. This is too small. This is how much I've knitted, and it's too small, right? This should be the back and the front, like both left and right front. And if I do this, it's tiny. It's just not, there's no way this is going to be the cardigan. So I measured it, and it measures 70 centimeters when it should measure for the extra small 93, and for the small 103. So it's definitely too small. And first I thought, okay, you made a big boo-boo because you should have finished your swatch, and I didn't finish my swatch. I'm not going to finish this swatch, and you should always finish your swatches. That's a lesson I learn every time, and then I never apply. So do as I say and not as I do. But anyway, I thought, okay, now I have a good sample here. I can use this as a swatch. I can measure this and decide what I'm going to do next. So I measured this. I measured 10 centimeters. in my garden stitch, which is what the swatch should be like. And in 10 centimeters, I have 8 stitches when the swatch says I should have 12. So if anything, if I'm going to knit up 12 stitches, that's larger than 10 centimeters. So if I do the full amount of stitches for the pattern, it should come up larger, not smaller. So I don't know what is going on. Anyway, I'm not blaming the pattern designer by any means. It's probably my mistake, but I don't know what I've done. So what I decided to do is I'm measuring how much I still need, right? So if I have 70 and I need 103 centimeters, I need to add roughly 30 centimeters to my work. So then I measure how many centimeters, how many stitches is in 30 centimeters in my work, and that's roughly 20 stitches. Don't do the maths, because I'm just working with rough numbers here. I've learned nothing. I'm just working with rough numbers. If I add 20 stitches, instead of starting with 60 stitches, I should start with 80 stitches, which is the extra large, not the extra small, not the small. So I don't know what is going on, but I'm gonna knit the extra large, because I'd rather have a bit of an oversized cardigan than a cardigan that it's too small for me. Anyway, what that means is that I now need to frog this whole thing and start again. But it's okay, it's okay. I've made peace with it, because the whole point of this project is to turn something I didn't wear into something I'm gonna wear a lot. And I'd rather have a cardigan that I'm happy with, that is a little bit oversized, that I can use over jumpers, and that I can just use in the house when I'm very cold. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna frog this whole thing and then re-knit what I had up to the point where I need to split the front and the back, and I'll see you then. Okay, it's been several days and I haven't been knitting much because I've been doing other stuff in life. I recently got back to dancing salsa, so I've been going through a lot of classes and my yoga classes, and it's just nice to be out of the house. The weather is still very nice here in Lisbon, so I'm trying to enjoy the rest of the summer before the winter comes. And I'm spending a lot of time outside of the house and not knitting much. But I think I got the cardigan to a place where I can separate the back and the front for them to make the sleeve holes. This is the length now, which is a bit shorter than the pattern suggests. And I'm just going with my feeling that this is enough, because I think if I do another cable pattern here to increase the length of the back and the front, I think it's gonna be, I'm gonna be running out of yarn at the end of the cardigan. So I've measured the back. I've measured the back, and I think it's a good enough length now to separate for the sleeves. It's not gonna be a very long cardigan in the end, but I think it's gonna be longer than the jumper I had to start with. And I ended up making five cables on the front. So this cardigan has 2 cable motifs in the front, in the left and the right, and nothing on the back. So the back is just garter stitch. Anyway, I'm gonna be separating this now and gonna be working the front left and the front right, and then the back, I presume, and then you join the shoulders and cast on the sleeves. I think that's the process. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm hoping that today I can get quite a bit done, and hopefully I'll finish at least the front left and right, and hopefully the back as well. I don't know. Let's see how it goes today. I'm going to be going out to a garden later on and sitting on the grass and doing a bit of knitting, hopefully. And that's going to be quite nice. But yeah, in the end, my gauge is completely off compared to the pattern. I think I already told you that, even going up the size of the cardigan. So I'm going by feeling and taking a lot of measures as I go along, and hoping that, trusting the process, And the process is that there's no process. The process is just having a gut feeling for things. But yeah, one thing I'm noticing is that the cable patterns on the left and the right and the front are much longer than the same amount of rows in the back, and that's because of the type of stitch you work. So I guess the front is going to be longer than the back for this cardigan, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. So yeah, let's continue and see how much I can get done today. I finished the back and the front, and there's a couple of things that worrying me. One is that the front seems to be a lot longer than the back, as you can see. And I think it's because, as I referred earlier, because of the cable motif, which is not perfect. I hope that some of these inconsistencies will go away when I block the cardigan. But the other thing that's worrying me is that maybe the back is a little bit short and it's gonna ride up my back when I wear it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stitch the shoulder seams here, the front with the back, and then I'm gonna try it out as a vest and see if I'm happy with the length of the back. Otherwise, I'm going just to increase the back a little bit more and then hoping that that will sort out the problem. Pause in the knitting to look at this cutie. She doesn't like petting. Okay, I don't know if you can see my face, but hopefully you can see the jacket. It's 1,000,000 degrees in Lisbon right now, so I'm sweating wearing this, but fear not. I think the size is perfect. It could be a bit longer, but at this point I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn, so I'd rather have it a bit shorter, and then, you know, if I do have yarn in the end, that's how it is. But I'm happy with the length, and in the end it wasn't longer at the front because the shoulder seams seem to sit quite back. Anyway, I now need to knit the sleeves, and the sleeves should have one of these cable motifs in each sleeve, but I think I'm not gonna do that because the whole point of doing this is to make the cardigan a bit more wearable under a winter coat. So I'm hoping that by missing the cables, by not doing the cables and just doing a garter stitch, I can achieve that. If I do knit the cables, I mean, it does look quite nice in the pictures, but I'm worried that it won't fit under a winter coat. So that's the plan. I'm gonna knit the sleeves now. Never mind my untidy sofa behind me. I could have tidied the house for the shot, but I didn't feel like it. So I'm just gonna show you my progress. I made a sleeve. So a few things. One is that I mentioned that I would be using double pointed needles to make the sleeve in the round, but I didn't have to do that because the pattern called for the sleeve to be made flat and then sewed under the arm. So that's one thing. The other thing, and I'm going to show you. So what I've done was I've made the sleeve, and then I started stitching it. I started sewing it under the arm just to see the length. I haven't casted off the cuff because I wanted to see the length before and then decide whether I wanted to do more or not. But I think the length is fine now. I'm like covered in yarn. One modification I did, as I said before, is that the pattern had a cable going down each sleeve, but I took that off and I did like a simple garter stitch. So it's quite snug, which is what I wanted, because I wanted to be able to wear this under a winter coat. And then another modification I did was I did a decrease right about where my elbow is. The pattern didn't call for a decrease, but I thought it might be too poofy close to the cuff if I didn't do that. And then I increased the rib as well. So the rib is larger than what the pattern said. But I think I'm really happy with it at this point. So what I need to do now is to cast this off and sew the rest of the sleeve and then knit the other sleeve. And there's something I wanted to show you as well, which has nothing to do with this cardigan. Look what I made in a weaving workshop. Isn't this so cute? I had a weaving workshop yesterday with my mom here in Lisbon, and I learned how to weave, and I made this, which I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'm really happy with it. And here's another hobby that I want to have now, which is problematic because I don't have, I don't even know how to call it, a weaving frame. I don't know how you say it in English, but I want to pick up weaving, and I don't have any of the materials to do it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the workshop, and I wanted to show you because I think it looks really cute. For my first attempt, it's not bad. This is a clip of me trying the Italian bind off on the sleeves. I've never done an Italian bind off before, and I thought it would be a good time to try it. But in the end, I didn't really like the look that it gave to the rib. It was kind of flaring out a little bit. So I decided to undo it and do my normal bind off of binding off knit-wise the knit stitches and purl-wise the purl stitches. I didn't memorize the pattern in the end. So next time I try to do the Italian bind off, I'm going to have to watch another YouTube tutorial. Here is me trying it while watching a YouTube tutorial. Okay, it's the evening, so the light is a bit rubbish. I don't have natural light to record. But I wanted to show you the second sleeve before I attach it to the rest of the cardigan. And I just want to show you that, yeah, I've done, I think it was 29, 58 rows up to this point. Then I decreased in one side and the other, did 10 more rows, and then did the cuff. And I don't really learn because I should have taken notes when I modified the pattern. I should have written it somewhere, that what I've made, but then a few days have passed, I didn't write it down, and then I had to remember. I had to remember what I had done. So, but I think I did okay. I've measured both sleeves and they seem to be the same size, and the cuffs seem to be the same size. So I think in the end I guessed it correctly. But yeah, I never learn. To take notes and be more organized. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna sew it to the body, sew it in the other arm, and then tomorrow I need to weave in the ends as well, and then tomorrow I can show you how the cardigan looks. Final reveal. Are you ready for the reveal? Ta-da! Yeah, I finished. I'm pretty happy with it. I think the fit is great. It could be a bit longer. I was left with this much yarn, so I guess I could have made it a little bit longer, but because this was worked button up, I wasn't really sure, what the size was going to be, and I was a bit afraid of running out of yarn. So in the end, I think I made the right decision of making it this short. But I think it's exactly what I wanted. Cozy, very warm, very fluffy. I think it's going to be great to wear around the house in those very cold days, but also to wear under a winter coat and go out using it. I think the original pattern looked a bit more funky with the cables going down the sleeves, but I think if I made it like that, it wouldn't serve the purpose I wanted. So I'm happy with my decision to not make the cables. And in the end, all that confusion with the gauge worked out well. And my later calculations worked out well, so I'm happy with the size. I was left with this yarn, as I said, and I also have the same yarn in this yellow, which I think I showed in a previous video. So I'm thinking of making some funky mittens using this, but I need to find a pattern, and it's not a project I'm going to be doing anytime soon because I have other projects ongoing that I want to finish. But yes, this is the results. I hope you enjoyed the journey of transforming a jumper I didn't wear into a cardigan I intend to wear a lot. If you did enjoy this video or my other videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, leave me a comment, and let me know if you have any jumpers around your house or any other garments that you don't wear that much and you intend to, or you're thinking of transforming into something else. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.